Alright, we have VOD review on Pearl. And so roughly a second.
हाँ वही ना लास्ट में जिसने रीमेक करवाया.
Look at the comp real quick. We have pseudo flashes with Reyna, smokes. We have flank watch with Cypher. He seems to know what he's doing. Since Cypher's split up, this probably means you don't want to fully commit to this push. Pistol round is usually a 5-man rush. If you don't do a 5-man rush, then you're like just down a player. This could enable him to do a late round lurk, but since people don't really expect people to rotate on this round, unless you get like a free pick right here and you get on the site super fast, could be thinking about just making a bunch of noise here, pulling enemy rotations, let Cypher work his magic, and then you guys can go A.
Obscuring vision!
Enemy spotted B.
Blocking vision!
Enemy spotted B.
So I don't like you pulling out knife here. This is still very
Obscuring
dangerous.
vision!
Why'd you pull so far behind?
नहीं रीमेक करवाया.
So you already fell behind here. So the Reyna already got up into the close corner. So since you're
हाँ
the
वही ना
movement
लास्ट में
duelist,
जिसने रीमेक करवाया.
since you're the movement duelist, usually you're the one that should be in the closest corner. Make sure no one can get in front of you. Okay, you're late here. And then here you make your Astra go before you too, which is kind of weird.
Obscuring vision!
But yeah, you should be the one in Reyna's position. And you should
Enemy
be the one
spotted B.
But yeah, can't pull knife here. Unless you strafe to cover first, use this pillar as cover like the Reyna did.
Blocking!
And because of that, you're not ready. Your crosshair placement's off for this swing. Also, you were still exposed and in the open here. Didn't clear tight left here. You gotta do that since you're first.
Headshot!
Not sure how valuable this dash is. I already killed 2 here, so it's not likely there's another player's screens. I feel like it's more valuable to help your team take more space here. Either that or just rotate out, because it's 3v3, your Cypher's nowhere near you guys. Yeah, coming through this smoke, like you're completely solo, your teammates smoked off. She just reloaded her so she's fine. But she doesn't really look like she's in position to trade. Honestly, or she's trying to shoot at the maybe. But either way, it's not great. I think that's a nice time to rotate. Like, you've lost a lot of members, and like you guys have taken so long to get onto site. But main thing is your Cypher's nowhere near. Like, if you want to rush a site, you might as well go with all 5. If you notice your Cypher's not with you, then just probably even before the round starts, you can commit to that rotate. Because imagine if, like, right about like now, you guys are planting A, and the Cypher just sort of has all this info. Like, he can hear if they're leaving B. So make sure you enable your lurkers.
किधर ए
Forcing a share on this round. Why are you making so much noise? So you made a step here, made a step here. Might as well just silent fast peek these instead of giving away your team's position. I don't really like you standing out here in the open. So even though your Astra is like holding your door for you, especially on pistols, like you can't guarantee the Astra will be able to kill someone. Especially she's holding it passively too. So this guy can still step out, shoot both you and Cypher while the Astra kills them. Why not play an angle where you're not exposed? Because like even though you have cover from this side now, if they flash again, if you played on the other side of this thing, then like they can't they just can't shoot you on that. I like how you're sort of trying to hit your Cypher. Probably this one because you know they're gonna hit Cypher first. Look how exposed your Cypher is. She knows she lands that stun. I would probably be playing up here, trying to stay just out of the Alright, did you get the trade? And here, so here I'd be like running towards my Sage. The only advantage you have is numbers. You have 2 people, and then they're split up right now. If you wait too long, then they'll completely surround you guys. But you split up and waste your only advantage. Go check behind the box. So this, usually when people peek out the edge of a smoke like this, it's so they can peek like this direction first. So when you step through, usually people like look this way and immediately whip 90 degrees to look that way, or like whatever common angle. It's like kind of, because you have a little bit of the edge of this smoke as a little bit of cover. It's not real cover, but it might give you that extra split second you need to like turn here. But you very lazily, like, you just step out. So your crosshair is not placed at anything. So like, why gamble on this specific spot at like knee level when you could be gambling right here, which is a much more likely position. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this pathing. So once you're through, like this direction, it opens you up to 2 angles. The fastest way to break sightlines here when you have no idea where the enemies are is to keep going to your right. So like I probably would have kept going this way. Like this round is pretty much lost. Like this is a save round anyway. You're just trying to deal as much damage as possible. Your spike is completely gone. Like there's not really a point pathing in a predictable manner, so you might as well path in an unpredictable manner. I guess they don't know that you don't have spike though. But still, this is like a very dangerous cross. Or another way if you want to pad this is you can peek this first, and then once you peek this and then clear, then you can come back this way and then go that way. But honestly, I don't really like. So on Pearl, like this is the most common route. Like everyone loves sneaking through here and then coming back around, and because of that, everyone likes playing back and watching this rotation. And there's lots of angles, like this lurk angle you just died from, lurk angles from like this side. So if you do come this route, you can get shot in the back very easily.
Here. Concealment.
You're hiding behind your Astra again. Not hiding, you're just late.
Enemy
Last
spotted
in
B.
line.
Concealment.
Left checker, left
Astra's
checker.
entering for you. Oh, alright, so at this point, you guys have committed 2 smokes. Probably the entire enemy team's already here because you guys have been so loud. So the chances that someone's just standing in the smoke, I assume that's who you're aiming for, because if you otherwise you're just shooting at like a random spot on the wall here, is pretty low. So I mean, I guess they could have like what's it called, like specters and stuff from last round. But with like this many people on site, I don't think they need to play someone in the smoke. Yeah. So there probably wasn't anyone in the smoke. There was just 2
Save
guys.
and shoot.
Also, Vandals have bullet tracers. You don't have a lot of ammo in your clip. When you waste your whole clip like this, which isn't great. I think the bullet tracers are what kills you here. Also, you were standing without any cover.
Save
Really.
and shoot.
I guess like
सुनो
spraying
ना ये
smokes
सब
makes you
लर्किंग
feel like
विर्किंग मिड
you're,
लर्क मेरे पे
spraying smokes makes you feel like you're doing something, but like really you're just wasting time that you're giving the enemy team time to rotate. What's your ready situation?
The working mid lurk
Alright, so half your team's force, or 2 people on your team are forcing, 3 aren't.
मेरे
So
पे
you're probably
छोड़
gonna
दो
lose
तुम
this
लोग
round,
जाओ
and you're probably gonna lose next round for that. Unless they sold. This is kind of tough. I would almost... I mean, I guess this is fine. I don't think dashing straight backwards, though, is a great idea. Like, you could have dashed diagonally to try to make a corner or something like that. But dashing straight back...
Reloading.
I don't know, I'd rather end my dash somewhere safe. You can... keep control of what direction you're facing. I like that you back up here. There's like 2 or 3 chasing. I'm not sure if I like you playing this fair angle though. I might prefer that you play...
Stay down. My ult's.
So this is the problem with playing mid. So all 5 of you are now clustered mid. I call this fish in a barrel. This opens you up so that if people flank, then they can shoot in on you. Anyone playing normally defensively can peek and shoot on you. Like anyone pushing up B, art.
Stay down. My ult's.
I'm not sure you had much choice, but rather than waiting for these people to flank, so you've already surrendered all of this territory, so they know you're not going A. Like a logical response to me is you're not going to win a fight like pistols versus rifles, and you know there's at least 2 of them too. So your options are to set up some sort of defensive play and hold territory, but that doesn't work because you guys don't have any territory to hold that's not under threat. So in this case, you usually want to convert. You want to sacrifice this territory and exchange it for this territory. If they have 2 A main, it's unlikely they have no one B, right? So there's probably like 2 B, and then so how many people are probably 1 or 0. And then how many people do you have? You have 5. So if you hear these people running out, you can tell your team, hey, rush art, rush art. And then like them 3 start running. You can just like, maybe not knife run, but maybe knife run after them and just join them. And now boom, you have 5 people on A. You get like a sort of crappy plant in some weird spot. But then you have, at least you get that plant and then you can look to try to like take territory back afterwards. So when you are at disadvantage in an area, just surrender the territory and take territory where they're weakest. It's like, I don't know, like in chess when you sacrifice one piece to like take a piece of something else on the board. I don't know, I'm not really a chess player. Alright, so since, okay, so it looks like they did sell last round, so they didn't force.
बॉम्ब्स भी नहीं कुछ नहीं है
Here.
के बाद सरेंडर कर दो बेंच
Alright, like this. You're threatening the push B. I think you can knife run a bit longer. If you look at your sound circle, like your sound circle, it barely touches this territory here. And you could also be silent B hopping up these stairs when you shoot back. Oh, you don't have the key bind. If you bind, if you use spacebar for jump, this doesn't work with mouse wheel jump. If you use spacebar for jump, if you bind crouch secondary bind to spacebar as well, then all of your jump liftoffs are silent. And then if you land on higher ground than when you jump from, then your landing is silent. So you can use that to silent B hop everywhere. I would just shot that. Unless you're just staring at me, but I would definitely have gun out to shoot this dog. Unless you're trying to bait for your Reyna. Did you slow peek? Yeah, it felt like you slow peeked. I don't know if you actually did, or maybe it's because you pushed through an area of the smoke that's like thicker. Because like rather than peeking through this side, which extends the time that your like eyes are sort of still stuck in the smoke, I would have peeked out maybe this side. So that way when you step out, you're like clean out. Also, like your barrel, the barrel of your gun might be poking through here. If you peeked out the side that I pointed out, then you can have your. Alright, so if you're standing here and the barrel of your gun's facing this way, that guarantees the barrel doesn't peek out. And then when you step out wide, that guarantees your eyes come out before the barrel. So you guys are loud here. Like, this guy. And then I bet you're gonna back up. Okay. I was gonna say, like, the Cypher is backing up. I don't know why, but you guys should be rushing forward right now, taking this side. I'm sure I like this. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to smoke deeper, but he's like pretty far away. I don't think you need to waste that smoke here. You're kind of W keying a little bit while you're like pulling W. So I think I probably would have moved up a little bit more, because if you know if you D here, if you just hold D, like you'll crash into the wall. But if you move up a little bit more when you hold D here, you won't crash into the wall. So like you're not 100% sure. So be careful about that.
जबरदस्ती मत करना मैं ये वॉकिंग करने का ट्राई कर रहा हूँ जबरदस्ती मत करना
You want to play? Let's play.
It's awkward.
You want to play? Let's play.
There's a little bit of a gap, so it's almost worth it to jump. I don't know if that makes it easier or harder to hit though. I'm not sure like this. So
let's play.
the thing is that your smoke is still up. Because your smoke is still up, you don't really threaten peeking. So normally the point of the smoke is to cross, right? So you can peek left, you can peek right here, and your teammates can peek from that side. With this smoke still up, the only place he has to watch is right here and on top of, what's it called? On top of this thing. And he knows that if you jump on top of this thing, then you're sort of like leaving yourself.
Let's play.
Interesting. I think you accidentally shouldered. I don't know.
ये हो रहा है आ जाना
Ooh.
ये हो रहा है आ
So
जाना
if we want to jump and spot like that, like notice how you're moving straight forwards, backwards on this plane, and you even float to like stay exposed for longer while you're defenseless. Like if you want to jump and look, then you should be jumping sideways, not like out of cover. But just, see, like makes it easy for him to shoot you. If you were like jumping to the left or jumping to the right, probably left here to get more behind this cover as you jump. I don't like you guys are just waiting here, re-peeking the op over and over.
भैया आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ भी आ रही है
Good attempt.
I mean, somehow you guys win it, but it's...
यार मैं जब से बोल रहा था मेरे को पता ही नहीं आवाज ही नहीं आ रही. अल्ट किधर करूं
ये
मतलब?
पे यूरो पुश था
You didn't check this corner?
Blocking sight.
Oh, you smoked too far. So you should know your smoke range. You can always under smoke if you want. Like you can aim it like to land around here and then dash into it. If you overshoot it, then it's just like it doesn't.
Sight. No charges left.
Ooh, this is.
Sight.
Okay with this peak to like go and help your team. You're just supposed to pick it off. It's fine, just because of the smoke. I don't like you pushing through the actual while reloading. You know your smoke's running out. I also don't like you swinging when you know the omen is.
No charges left.
So right here, you see the omen blind come from your left. So the only place he can be, I guess, is like, I guess it could be spawn, but most likely he's peeking hall here. So here you're just running at him completely blind. If you just stay still, shape, or you could even try to cross back. Also, I forget if you had another smoke, actually. You have another smoke.
किसी ने तो रिमेक करवा इतना
Why is this lagging?
किधर स्मोक चाहिए कुछ कॉल दे दो भाई.
बस सरेंडर ना कर दे वो
Okay, so when you're slicing the pie here, like I think you're slicing the pie pretty well in terms of just like peeking it. However, you're like committing to the fight. So if you think about it, if there's actually a guy here, let's say you swing this and there's actually a guy here. Like you step out far enough that like if he's here, he's ready for you. Like he doesn't have to adjust his crosshair. Since you're peeking into it in the first time, like you still have to like stop moving and fire. The guy standing here does not have to stop moving. He's already stationary. He can just hold down left click while strafing back to cover. So like this guy is going to be at an advantage, I guess, disregarding like peeker's advantage and lag and stuff like that. But for the most part, he's going to be at an advantage. Like when you're peeking the incredibly dangerous angles, like I think that one's fine. But this angle right here, there's also the high-low angle. I would jiggle these. So when you slice the pie, if you jiggle the peak, it's very unlikely that like they manage to kill you in the time of the jiggle. And if you want, you can like pre-fire it to like threaten fighting back and stuff like that. Or if you just have good enough reflexes, but like you should really be thinking about just jiggling these angles. But like you're so committed. If he, I don't know why he could have just shot you, I think. Like look at how long you guys just looked at each other. You guys just like look at each other. Give me 1 sec. Alright, so you back off, it's fine. Since your team is so quiet everywhere else, I almost would have liked if you did that smoke again to like threaten crossing. Because I think that would apply a little bit more
I got
pressure.
the spike.
Your teammates are playing very slow. So your team's playing the strat where everyone's lurking. And when everyone's lurking, no one's lurking. So all of your teammates are split up and they're shift walking. Like your team's advantage is numbers advantage. The only place you guys had numbers advantage was right here. And they're like getting flashed out and getting destroyed because they're standing without any cover. Defenders have defenders advantage. They can peek out of here. They can peek out of this corner. They can peek out of over here. Like same thing over here. Like they can play behind any piece of cover. They could have been behind this box and shooting your guy in the back. Like they can appear anywhere, but you guys have to come from just like one singular direction per route. So like by splitting up here, it's like maximizing their defender's advantage. Or sorry, it's minimizing your numbers advantage, which you could always just shift walk somewhere, right? And that's more effective than having less than 5 people shift walking somewhere and taking one of these spots. What is that on the move?
ये आओगे
But yeah, so for instance, like when the enemy pushed up here with like, was it just Reyna? But yeah, so like the enemies are also just like not really pushing with as many people as they could be. They're also wasting their numbers.
No, extra बंदा है
So this guy is now... Nobody's gonna watch this anyway. I'll be watching the right just in case someone followed Art and was like trying to knife you or something. Because like your Cypher...
Blocking sight.
What is that smoke? So you can also like toss the smoke up and then whip it down. This spot has no cover at all. Like, you don't even have smokes left anymore since you just wasted your last one. I would play somewhere with cover. So it's 3v2. You want to play safer. You don't need to take risks. Higher lower rule, you want to play in a way that like you any sort of 1v1 you find is like really bad. You want to always find 2v1s or better. So like here, there's literally no way for anyone to trade you if you take this fight. However, like if you wait for
my camera is this.
Like your Cypher has a trip behind him, right? I don't know if it actually covers him, but let's pretend it does. If this Cypher watches this line like across like this, you could be playing default, and then right when he shoots, then you can swing off contact, and that guarantees at least a 2v1.
दोनों उधर से आ
Could
रहे
be
हैं
a
तो कोई
2v2, but
नहीं सीटी आया.
and same with this Astra. You could also double up with your Astra to make sure that any fight you take over here is a 2v1. Yeah, I don't like how you're like sort of looking for this 1v1, giving them chances. Alright, but now you heard him. He's saving. He's not saving. What the heck?
आया side.
He's out of time.
Dare you.
He's actually hinting.
चलते चलते लगता है रे इनका. आया side.
Yeah, at this frame, like at this frame, he's already out of time.
Dare you.
ले लूं.
Maybe he's just trying to take money off your team. I don't know, or he just doesn't know how to count.
Stealing sight.
So you should use that eye to cross.
Obscuring vision. Obscuring vision.
Oh, you did the thing again.
Obscuring
So I
vision.
call this shield and sword. So the idea is that wherever you point your gun is your sword, and wherever you like are exposed, you should be shielded. So before you can turn your sword to face this way, you should be using this pillar as a shield to block this main sight line. Because right now you're just like leave yourself.
Obscuring vision.
You didn't even check the gun. I made Reyna check it for you.
Your
Don't take out knife in combat. Right here, if you get swung, you real sad indeed.
your duty is not over. Fight area
That
is
was
still
your
up.
chance to do something. At this point, it's probably a good time to rotate. Like, it's not great, but you guys don't really have a way into sight. I mean, I guess you could either you guys have to rush and use these smokes while you guys are still here. There's probably only 3 people here. But it's rough for sure. Or if you take the spike, you can leave, fight through the flanker, maybe lose 1-for-1, hopefully, and then try to take A or even double back B after you kill that guy.
Blocking sight. I've got your trail.
This is a very tough situation. You guys are all fighting separately too.
No charges left.
So anytime that you stay still, it actually makes it very hard to play with your team. Because if everyone's standing still and no one's joining each other and no one's like, I don't know, it makes it really hard to play with your team. if you guys like push through a smoke at the same time, you can count off, be like 3, 2, 1, go, and you guys push through. Then like at least there's 2 targets for them to shoot at. So here the enemy team doesn't do it well either, right? They're also isolating 1v1s when really they should not be. But there's no guarantee it'll be a 1v1. Like when the Reyna fought your teammate, it could have just as easily been this. Like one guy from screen, one guy from hall, one guy from like, I don't know, somewhere else. Good job isolating this at least. But you have to move. So the longer you wait here, the worse it gets.
Mid भी ले लो ना.
Still in sight. Covering them.
Mid push है.
So when you get blinded like this, one of your first instincts should be either to be smoking yourself or like just at least wiggling a little bit to make sure.
Mid push है.
Make it in time. What? Oh, I see. You're trying to chase the.
Mid push है.
Okay, you're doing this thing again. Okay, so I actually didn't know that your teammates already pushed the door. So maybe you were aware of it, I wasn't. But like when you play here, it makes me worried that you'll get swung from door. Because I didn't have time to look to see where you're in.
Reloading.
It's good.
Sky
I don't like you breaking your pressure placement. You also down.
Reloading.
So you only shot 7 bullets from this thing. Like I would guess that most guns I find lying around would have fewer bullets.
Sky
You actually lose bullets on this trade. But it's good that you double up with your Reyna. I don't like that you now split up from your Reyna. Like your Reyna goes back this way, you should join her and go back that way.
B चलो.
Don't take out knife and danger.
Blocking sight.
Here you should be watching your team's back. It's very unlikely that an enemy swings here in this like 1 second. You should be watching doors to make sure they're not flanking. It's also unlikely, right? I think they'd have to come through like B long to market and then to flank in time. But there's also like, there's no reason to be staring at a place that enemies can't be. Your teammates are already like swinging out here. Also be careful, like this, you stop for a second here, but you're still leaving your back sight line exposed. I would probably swing around this corner just to make sure it's not. Okay, this is interesting. So you have to sort of adapt to whatever your entry is doing. So you're making your Reyna entry for you. So like when she's moved off to the left now. So that means that you're the one on the rightmost. She's about to block her own view with this pillar. Like she has to switch where she's aiming. So it's your job to aim this way. So you can't really switch. Like this isn't really a. I actually thought he would be further back. I didn't think this was a fight you could actually join in. But with your teammate planting, my first instinct might actually be to like, how do I smoke from my planter? But there's just so much to do. Like you guys have to clear all this site. There's like nothing. You're at a really good time. Not sure there's much you could do there. But at least you swing off the contact, which is good.
करेगा फ्लैश रिवील होंगे.
So at least you're first up here. So you guys are loud. I don't like how slowly you're peeking this. So as entry, like maybe you're used to playing smokes. So as smokes, like if you're lurking, then yeah, you should be slicing the pie and being careful with these every corner. When you're entry, if you slice the pie like this and there's someone here, like let's say there's someone here and they're fighting you, how do your teammates join in that fight? They'd have to either walk in front of you and click collat'ed or walk behind you and get collat'ed. So like as entry, you need to swing wide. That way, like you swing wide, they're tracking you, and then you're like starting to stop to fight back, and then your teammate swings and joins the fight.
Blocking vision.
And usually you do this with dash. Like let's say you have dash activated here, you see the enemy here while you're full running, and then you just dash further to the right. And then while that, like they're like do I track the Jett? And then they turn back to the right, and then like if they shoot your teammate, you swing even further, and you take this new angle. Like Jett dash is so strong.
Blocking vision.
Yeah, you don't want to be swinging close like this is the time that you're swinging wide. This is the best time to be swinging wide. So here you didn't just dash out.
Pulling them
When you get
in.
surprised, you just dash out. I'm not sure you need that second smoke so
Pulling
fast.
them in.
So once you're in this smoke, like this smoke lasts like what, 4 seconds, something like that. Like you can sit in it for a little bit while you plan out where you want to toss your next smoke. If you toss your smoke that way, usually it implies that you want to push it. You tossed it in a way that low, it's like kind of flat on the other side, so you don't have a good way to push. I guess this is fine. You have enough smokes to do this.
Disappoint me.
There's a wall, there's a wall.
Oh wow, I like that you're chasing that guy.
Planted.
That's pretty funny.
Reloading.
At this point, you should be thinking about how to play your numbers advantage.
Here.
Who's next?
Like the only direction they can come from because of that wall is your right. So you should never be, I guess now they can jump over it. Okay. So you have two options. You could be watching up here if they go up the rail and then jump on top of the wall, which is terrifying. Or you can watch the far side. I guess you have a Cypher trip.
Who's next?
Here.
So it's probably better to be watching the jump up.
Night night.
Flash. Yeah, I don't know. I think your teammates have you from main. Alright, so now you know the last guy is opping from this side. At this point, like whenever someone dies, you should probably just take a step behind cover and reevaluate. So at this point, it's a 4v1. The only way you guys lose this is if people swing this opera one at a time. So luckily he overswings while he's blind. But if he didn't, if he just swung it normally and then just shot you first, because they pretty much knew where you are. I yeah, but if he lands that shot and doesn't overswing, then he peeks again. Cypher's isolated with no cover. Takes out the Cypher next. Swings wider. Then it's like a little harder on these last two, but it's still possible to slice the pie and isolate those. Especially against an op, like making a contact play is like really, really effective because it forces him to walk into somewhere, peek many angles at the same time, get shot in the back, and then someone swings off from a brand new angle.
Here.
Guarantees that he loses. But you guys definitely
Blocking
lost.
sight.
You guys could have lost a lot more players.
Concealment.
Blocking sight.
Cutting their vision.
Once again, probably wait for the smoke to go down. I guess you have the Reyna eye, sort of.
Concealment.
I don't like pulling out knife here.
Reloading.
You fake checked left side. She was actually playing behind the pillar this time. Dude, like, stop a lot.
Reloading. Still inside.
Like you make your Reyna go in first. So usually like movement duelists are the ones that sort of like go in first. And that like breaks the enemy crosshair placement and forces them to respect more angles so that your non-movement duelists and your other people that are like supporting you can like swing next and trade you. And Reyna's like a really good trade because if she gets the trade kill, then she can like full heal. If she's first in and she dies, she doesn't get to use her utility, other than her eye, of course. So you want Reyna to go. Interesting. Yeah, the updraft might have killed her. I think first instinct should probably be, unless you know your dash can bring you to safety somewhere, which it might be to smoke and then dash. That was a nice Yoru flash though.
ना Jett रिवील नहीं होता क्या हुआ ये 8 को स्टार्ट कर
Need
8
that
को
back.
स्टार्ट
You guys
कर
lost a lot
इधर
of
भी कुछ
character
होगा
here. Now this first angle's really nice. Oh, you did the close swing again. Especially since you're Jett, you should be the one wide swinging. So you notice how your Cypher was just holding a close angle? Like that makes so when you join this fight, you would have just gotten down. I'm not sure I like you taking your...
One down.
Yeah, taking knife out here is very dangerous. There could be another guy shift walking up after and baiting him. I hate this weapon swap. Like, you already had full ammo in your gun. Also, this is a close range angle that you're fighting.
Down.
So you have two people behind you, and you don't... Like, this is the perfect time to dash, I think. Like, your teammates haven't gotten here to join it. You could have dashed further.
Well divided.
Also, you heard her footsteps. Like, you knew there was someone there. You actually got rezzed.
Wall raid. Loading. Your duty is not over. Reloading.
Oh my not. Oh my not.
Wall raid.
If you had noticed the Astra wall,
Oh my not. Oh my not.
if you look at minimap while you're behind that other smoke,
Wall
that was a
raid.
waste of smoke. I don't like taking knife out here. They can still swing.
Obscuring
people.
vision.
You have a Cypher trip flank. I think if that trip's the one I'm thinking of, there's actually no way for them to cross it unless they teleport over it, which is possible, I guess.
Chamber here. Don't know.
So I think that like it should be you fighting. Like your utility is the least useful here out of everyone. Like Astra has her stars for post plant. Your Cypher has his trips and his camera.
My eyes
or his
are down.
camera's just broken. But it should not be making them peek for you. It's your job.
I found my
Shooting.
wife.
Like you're hiding behind your Cypher here.
Pulling them in. Out on.
I'm also not sure about this. Like I guess you have to protect your Astra. Your Astra's out wide, but after you get that first kill, like technically all you guys can back off. So you guys are kind of throwing here.
Out on me.
अरे खेल रहे थे
Alright.
काट है ना
Defense half. So it looks like you like playing this one in that angle.
A fast.
So even though he calls A fast, that doesn't mean that all 5 are here. So I don't like that you pulled knife out at this most dangerous angle. Because like that's the angle that they would just be clearing at this timing, I think.
2 3 4 4
What? No way you
A
waste your
fast,
dash here.
2 3
You waste your dash on like... You waste your extra life here just to get there about like a second faster.
One not.
Here, you wasted... You see here when you pass that box?
One
You pass this
not.
box, you strafe left right here. That left strafe, that loses you... That's like about the worth of your dash right there. Not quite, but...
Pull किया मैं.
Here, you do the same thing. You move up in this S shape.
Not.
Like you lost time there from that. Here you
Pull
just
किया
go
मैं.
forward in S shape, like up and then this way. Like you're losing time. Like all this time, you could have just not dashed, and then you would have been here at the same time. If you just moved a little more efficiently. Here you can swing out with dash activated. Swing this guy. Now that you miss these shots, you dash out.
Reload.
42. अरे लो है भाई.
So clearly you don't really respect your reflexes very much. You're holding extremely wide. So in the old days, there used to be a piece of cover on this side. It's less likely now that people will cross all the way and more likely that people will close peek when they get to this side. It's still possible, but I would probably hold a bit closer too. Also, are you a smidge high? I guess if someone swings, we'll find out, but I don't think I'm going to swing this round. Looks a smidge high, but maybe I'm crazy.
सबमिट है
Yeah, I was wondering, why do you keep switching? So it was high, yeah. You keep on switching what you're looking at. So when you gamble an angle like this, every time you switch what you're gambling, you just open your up to getting timing. So here you're peeking without your gun out again. Your crosshair place is not ready. It's too high as well. Okay. So like all of that time, you could have just been holding one angle or the other. By switching, you just open yourself up to getting timing like that. You should be dead. And then over here, there's 2 left, 5v2. The worst thing you can do is give them 1v1s. You and Jett, Sage are playing literally the same angle. So you may as well have just stayed screens and you could have just walked out the side of screens on top and then now you'd have a 2v1 angle. Oh, now you're leaving your Sage to entry alone. You should be going with her. Now you're reloading in the open. If this guy swings you right now, I guess Sage is watching.
एक इधर चूतिया आया
You waste your dash again.
मैं कब खेलता हूँ मतलब?
Dash might be the best ability in the game. I'm not sure. It's one of the best for sure. It's really, really strong.
You're on mid.
Hey, it's man.
Hate this
Hey,
friend
it's
here.
man.
You really don't respect lurkers at all. You should be dead about here. Shot in the back.
Lock the sight.
So this already started activating. You might as well shoot it. So a common place that I like to play sometimes is behind this pillar. So you should be dead here. That trap already activated. So they know that someone pushed out. Yeah, so he pulls it back because he knows you didn't check these corners.
50-50.
You don't really have time to... So while I say like you don't respect lurkers, you should be running. You should just be checking all your corners because you need to help your team.
भाई 2 लोग डंडे.
And then
Bhai,
mid
do
is
log
also a very
dinde.
dangerous route because like a common place that people lurk is like up top mid here, and obviously this guy's already pushed through. If you go through a spawn, that you can't get flanked as easily. They'd have to timing like walking behind you. So you can just run through here and get to main really fast.
Out of 45 for your body.
I've got your trail.
You don't fire?
Out of 45 for your body.
I've got
You should at least fire. Even if you miss, you should definitely fire here. So like when you're holding an angle like this, you should be waiting to see if you see a flash of color of someone peeking, and as soon as you see anything, you just click and then like move to
your
safety.
trail.
पीछे जा पीछे जा पीछे जा पीछे जा
You just probably want to scope while you're on here. Yeah, you should be scoped in at this point, so that when you land, you're ready to shoot.
हट के रहा, हट के.
And then you actually turn away.
हट के रहा.
Yeah, so there's this other bad habit where like you turn away from the angle before you strafe to cover. You should get used to strafing to cover and then break and then turn away from the angle.
हट के. Struggled, we can retake.
I like this, but you have dash, so you can swing wide.
Struggled, we can retake.
It's fine. Activate dash. I would take a step up so when I swing wide, I don't crash into the wall behind me. And then swing super wide here, and then hold like, you know, wherever. Hold the angle. You
Blocking
have your
sight.
dash. This is your time. You have your extra life here. Do not smoke it.
Blocking
Smoking
sight.
it gives him time to cross. So he's respecting the op. If you don't smoke this, he actually cannot cross over to for him. It lets him move up safely onto you into closer range.
Striker. Shit, man. मैं ही खेल रहा हूँ.
Let's see, what do you guys do on your save? Alright, successful save round. This is the angle I was talking about earlier, by the way. You could have played this angle with Sage, or get ready to swing off Sage's contact. It's a little high. Yeah, it is high. Let's see that in full speed. Yeah, if you were just a little lower, you may have had that one. Here, this is a dangerous reswing because everyone knows you're here, and this is the only angle you can swing safely other than jumping up. And obviously, they have better guns. So, like for instance, like after you do that, they can actually just have 3 people standing out in the open using pillar as cover and just like waiting for you to peek that exact angle or something crazy. Like not like a reasonable thing. Definitely shouldn't expect them to not be ready to fight it with at least 2 people. Usually you want to wait for your next teammate to peek. And once the next teammate peeks and attracts their attention, then you can peek out again, sort of like whack-a-mole. You should be up here helping your Sage. There's no reason to shift walk here because you're not in audio range. Gun should be out here. Should be ready to swing off contact. If she fires right here at someone right next to her, then you're just defenseless and cannot help. I don't like the
Bhai, I saw
shoulder peek. Like shoulder peeking here is good if you want to pull an op shot, but you might as well just jump peek. Jump peeking also might give you more info if you actually happen to see something.
Bhai, I saw my death, bro. 120.
That's just personal preference. Although I haven't seen you jump peek, so I don't actually know if you know how. I'm really glad you don't waste your dash on this. Look how inefficient this pathing is.
Scatter. Who's next?
Might have let him finish that.
Scatter.
So usually if you see Omen like this, you want to actually step back behind the cover, wait till he's about to finish it, and then peek out. Because Omen's, like, his vision expands, like, as it goes, so he actually can't see you right now. So if you actually let this go, if he looked around like a smart Omen, then he would spot you, like, towards the end of it and cancel. I would let him finish that.
Who's next? Who's next?
Yeah, you swing, like, really wide here.
Who's next?
So right here, I guess you might think you have 3 teammates here. Realistically, it's just you. You're the only one here. So holding this wide is kind of dangerous. If you hold like a much tighter angle, maybe back up a bit.
Who's next?
I feel like logically, yeah, I would play further back here, maybe on off elevation, like on this little step. I don't know if you can actually see from here. Like you might be able to see from like this little.
Who's next?
Can't tell. And then like you have these trips. So like I wouldn't swing past like a sliver angle of like main, where it's like just enough for you to take 1 shot. And that way you don't get 2v1'd. I don't actually care that you lose the 1v1, but this guy could have joined.
माइक का तो कॉम्स के लिए यही
चूती है इधर का है भी कि नहीं?
B.
Maybe fast rotate, especially with Judge. You want to get into Judge range. Cypher's doing a dangerous flank, but that's fine. Some of you guys are on save, he's a Cypher or something. Let's see what position to take with this Judge. Why are you peeking out? So in this case, you just want to
Reloading.
every time you like peek out a little bit, it just like gives them a chance to see you. I would not shoot that. Like, you really think this guy is entering with an operator while like running straight forward? And then at this point, you should definitely activate that. Another reason is, let's say this was actually not even the guy. Let's say this was like, I don't know, enemy Reyna or something like that. Even if it was Reyna, I might not shoot them because they're not looking at me. At this point, I might activate dash and then swing close left because there's going to be someone else following after them. And then if they're too far away, maybe dashing onto this player and then shooting them. But like this range is far enough that I don't know if you one tap at that. And then in that case, you would have actually just swung and then maybe caught this Reyna off guard in melee range, gotten the kill on her, and then like been able to dash this. Yeah, also as soon as you get stunned, you wait a little bit too long. But yeah, that dog just ensures your death. Or if you really want to shoot, you also have to shoot the dog.
मर मत रे चूती.
So if your Reyna wanted to fight mid, you could also double there.
Concealment. Need that back.
एक main.
So now your Astra's defenseless. Every time you look away, it's
Concealment.
like a time
Help,
that the
एक guard
enemies
भी
can
है.
peek and fight her. Like
हेल्ड कर
either
दूं
commit to leaving, like
Concealment.
say you keep hedging,
एक main.
you keep like looking away and then coming back, looking away, coming back. Just commit to the
Concealment.
gamble.
Help एक guard भी है.
हेल्ड कर दूं
Inefficient pathing here.
Heart है.
Really, like he needs your help now. You don't have time to slow down here. They heard your footsteps already, so they'd expect you here. Crosshair placement's low. They're expecting the crouch, but it's kind of
हटोला है.
you look away from the angle and reload while you're in the open. If you really respect this angle, why are you doing this and looking away when they can just step out and shoot you in the back? Why are you reloading when you're still in the open?
हटोला है नहीं बेटा. Cat city. हाँ वही होगा.
Alright, so at this point, you know your flank's no longer safe. Like, you know that they've made it through art and they could be water coming into spawn. So you might actually have to take territory. So remember what we said on defense? Well, that time they were pushing out A main. You surrender that territory because it's already lost and you take something new. I think you have to do the same thing here. You just have to decide what territory you want to take.
8 वाले को लेता हूं मेरे को
Backing up here is very dangerous. Like, you're trying to hold more territory than you can. So there could already be a guy here.
एवरीबॉडी
हटोला है.
8 वाले को लेता हूं मेरे को
Yeah, this is just weird. If you really think that this is dangerous, why you just
Everybody
take a
are-
knife here?
हटोला है.
Ooh, this is not crouch spray range.
एवरीबॉडी
हटोला है.
Crouch spray from here is, like, especially through a smoke, very dangerous. You want to just be...
भाई क्या
Your
टाइमिंग
best
है
time to
भाई
push. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. Yep. You see how you get punished for waiting? Like, because you wait so long, like, the whole team is already here and ready. If you and Cypher had pushed forward earlier...
टाइमिंग
Trying to think.
Cat
I
city
think
cat
around
city.
this time, like I think at this time you and Cypher should be pushing. Like it's actually like really
वही होगा.
scary at this point.
8 वाले को
Like I would just try to take this fight. You don't really have time to like, you don't really want to give them time to set up. Like that Skye was like dry peeking main for some reason and she's caught out in the open without any cover. I would try to take this time to try to finish her. Higher lower roll, you need to look for 1v1s now. It's the opposite of before. Like people tend when they have numbers advantage to throw their advantage by looking for 1v1s, and when they're behind they get scared and they don't hunt these 1v1s.
लेता हूँ मेरे को.
The repositioning here is nice if this was 5v3. Like 5v3, great plan. I like this. But
Everybody
3v5, this gives them time to set up. You also look like you're very good at fighting through smokes. If you're not used to fighting through smokes, then I would say don't waste the ammo on it.
छोड़ भाई इन जैसों को कुछ नहीं हो सकता. इंशाल्लाह करेंगे, बजेंगे भी, कॉम्प्स भी नहीं देंगे, रोएंगे भी.
When you fight smokes, you want to shoot towards the edges of them at the likely spots. If you don't have a likely spot, it's really not worth spraying in.
1B.
I've got your trail.
Alright, so this is kind of interesting. So when you're holding an angle,
करेंगे, बजेंगे
let
भी.
me see if I can find. So I might actually hold this angle instead. So you see how like the corner here like juts out. So when they turn this corner, they're more likely to be facing that way.
कॉम्प्स भी
However,
नहीं
if
देंगे,
you
रोएंगे
tuck
भी.
all the way here, like you did before, like this, or not all the way, but if you tuck more like this, they can like step out here and check this side, and then they can turn to face you when they check this side. If that makes sense. So it's like a little bit more likely that they're facing away from you if you're
1B.
to the left here.
I've got your trail. Well divided.
Reyna mid
Great
push
dash
कर.
here. At this point, I might updraft.
ब्लाइंड हो.
You have to swing. Nice.
Your
This
fault.
is hilarious.
Reloading.
Nice रे, well played रे.
Yeah, here I might actually dash.
Your fault.
Like you never actually use your dash. I would have dashed after one of those peaks, just because like it's
Nice रे, well played रे.
No charges left.
Astra really helped you a lot.
टीपी मारा होगा ये वो.
Cutting their vision.
देखो कहाँ हो, दोनों इधर ही है.
Remember we said the worst possible thing you could do is in a 5v2. Like if you think about it, like what are they gonna do? If you guys don't swing them,
Their vision.
like they have to just walk up into 4 of you, or they have to walk into your Cypher flank. And Cypher can be anywhere. Like it's probably better for you guys to chill, maybe even send a second player to back up the Cypher if you think that they're likely to rotate. But Cypher should also be able to, I assume he pulled up L's util. He should be able to put his util down and
देखो कहाँ हो, दोनों इधर ही है.
I guess you do have a gun though. I don't know if your teammates have guns yet.
Predator मेरे को gun.
Like if you're in their shoes, like what the hell do they do, right? It's 2v5. Like they have to push up somewhere and then like walk into angles. So like let's pretend for a second you guys would play this by playing off contact, right? So you could, let's say you kept playing this angle like where you were watching before, like this angle or whatever. They step in, you start shooting at them, and then your Astra swings out from behind this box while you step back behind the screen and they shoot you here. And at the same time someone swings out, like the Sage swings out Hall and then shoots them from this way. Like the 3v1 on this guy, and if the second player's near him, then he just gets collat'ed. Or like at worst, it's like a 3v2. Like,
Reloading.
no reason to give them these fair fights.
Oh my god, on the right mid.
On
the right-
cross, I'd rather just go. So before, it was fine that you did the turn away early thing. Like, actually, I don't know if you noticed it, but you did the turn away early thing again here. Because like they don't have the timing, right? They can't be here.
Oh my god,
So I
on
didn't
the
really
right,
comment on it.
right mid.
But here, like now they can be here. I think. So it's more dangerous. Like you keep shifting and moving. And you did the turn away early again. Yeah, you hadn't broken this angle yet. There's still a sliver.
You can have, wait if you want I will come.
But you just keep on. So with the operator, you don't have to keep moving. Like the goal is to click on them before they stop moving. So you just have your like.
You can have.
Like, this is a bad angle to hold. You're like extremely. You're like out in the
If
open.
you want, I will come.
So you want to hold closer, like you unscope early again. But there's like a closer angle you can hold, like you were doing earlier. If you were actually trying, I think you can do it when you try. You just don't always focus. So that's a dangerous angle to just peek like that. I might jump spot that angle instead.
Good ult.
So here, like when you have to check the minimap, I would make sure to be behind cover. So
Good ult.
right here, I would wait, bind cover, look at my minimap, see that ping, and I'd instantly start knife running here.
One more bit.
What do you mean?
If you feel like you needed to.
भाई दिखा तेरे को ult में.
You have dash. You have activate dash here now that they're firing. You put yourself at angle disadvantage. And you're moving. You could have just used your original angle. This is like a really bad like angle disadvantage angle. I wouldn't have been surprised if they just killed you. But they can definitely see you.
इधर लेफ्ट राइट है. Wait, don't die. जो भी सिटी वाला है, don't die. Chase come.
He said don't die.
I'm watching left, you watch right.
With the
1, 2, 3.
And you're playing in a spot that they can just swing you, and now you're reloading in the open. If I was the enemies, I would push you with
Chase come. Left right है.
So right here, I would actually, one player would be planting, the other player would be in the smoke. Right here, they'd be swinging you about now. So you'd be like getting swung from here.
इधर लेफ्ट राइट है. Wait, don't die. जो भी सिटी वाला है, don't die.
And if they hadn't swung yet, they would swing now while you're scoped. So you
Chase come.
you're still alive here.
I'm watching left, you watch right. 1, 2, 3.
Blocking sight.
That smoke
They
makes
know we
it
are
safe
यार.
for them to
सिटी वाले
sneak
पुश
up.
कर. हम लोग भी आ रहे हैं.
Like when the smoke comes down, it's better to be like, let's say you were standing here at the op watching the smoke and they were just in the smoke. When the smoke goes down, they have a fully automatic weapon and you have to like flick your shot. If you miss that first flick, they can just like switch and instantly headshot you.
93 Reyna.
It's scary. You can't pre-aim on a smoke.
93
There's
Reyna.
places they can play. I don't like you waiting here. At this point, you should be jumping down and looking to fight, I think. Because waiting here just leaves you the open to so many angles. You're playing passively when you need to be aggressive, and playing aggressive.
You
and
want
not
to
being
play
punished when
Bengali?
aggressive,
Play.
You should be playing passive.
The hunt begins.
When do you activate your dash?
You want to
देख लो भाई
play?
बंगाली
Let's
को.
play.
Your dash this early? So you might as well activate the dash only when you hear something, or like when you think it's about time. Like when you're about to do this peak. This could have been a fresh dash right here.
The hunt begins.
I think that was like an accidental
I
ADS
am
hit.
not with you, Jett.
I don't know why your sage isn't with you. You're good to have too. Didn't check your right corner. Didn't check behind pillar.
Mid already push.
Oh, you stepped too close to it. So you can at least know the rough range. You could also jump up this left side and move up closer to it, and then like whip the smoke around the corner.
Mid already push.
Also, because you smoke at center, you have to walk into the smoke, so it's gonna see you. So it already activated twice, so they know you're flanking. Asking for that one. So that's probably it. Alright. I think the main thing is probably that you don't play duelist like an entry. Like you don't entry properly. Like as movement duelist, you should be first in. You have to be leading the team and you have to be aggressive and let the team follow you. Like you're not having a lot of impact on rounds because you're playing a duelist like you're a sentinel, but you're not using your util, like you don't have sentinel utility. And you're baiting your most important players like your Astra and your Cypher and making them go first. And your Reyna as well. Like you can really enable your Reyna by like forcing their crosshair to be trying to follow you while the Reyna goes and swings. To entry better, you should be going first, first and foremost. You should be swinging wider. If you don't swing wide, your teammates can't trade. Let's see what else. I don't know. You've like taken sight so few times that it's like very, like I don't even know how you actually take sight because I don't know if I've seen you do it. And then higher lower rule I think is really important for you to look at. Like when you're up in players, like stop over peeking. It's a very common though. I actually know very few people that don't have that mistake. But more importantly, when you're down players, you slow down a lot. And that makes it really easy for the enemy team to set up advantageous plays. So like when you start noticing your team having fewer numbers than the enemies, you got to start playing more and more aggressive rather than more and more passive. Those would probably be the biggest things. Some minor bad habits are like that you often look away from corners or take out your knife in the open. Not super often, but like there's no reason to keep doing it. I don't know if you're a Jett main, but like your dash, you just wasted it. You completely wasted it twice. I'm just using it to move somewhere a second faster. Like use your dash as an extra life. Like you can just like you can just jump around in the open and like, you know, peek corners with it. And then if you see something, just dash out if you really want to. And like, then you'd at least be using it, like instead of just using it to rotate faster. Like I'm not like 100% sure, but I feel like the rest of Jett's kit is like weaker to make up for her dash being so strong. And let's see what else. I think gambling is another one. Like sometimes when there's like two equally possible things, you just keep switching between them. So like if there's a 50% chance that they go left or right, then you'd be the kind of player that watches the right side 30% of the time, watches the left side 30% of the time, and then spends 40% of the time like moving your crosshair between the two of them. Like almost making sure that you like lose. There's another time slicing the pie. Like when you're slicing the pie and you're looking into dangerous areas, you probably want to jiggle like the really dangerous angles, since like they're gonna have like they have angle advantage on you already, and they have like they don't have to stop moving like you have to stop moving. So yeah, jiggle those angles while you're slicing the pie. There's also one time you were like mid and you made 2 footsteps when you were trying to silent fast peek like in a row. Like make sure that you know how to properly silent fast peek those corners. I would just say don't spray smokes. Like if you want to learn how to spray smokes, first off, probably don't do it with a vandal. Because like the bullet tracers give your position away. You want to spray the edges of the smokes, not the center. Spraying the center makes it like, it's just very unlikely that you actually hit something. When you peek out of a smoke, you want to peek out near the wall, because those are the most likely places that people will play. Because, where was that one? I'm too lazy to find it. But that one time that you peeked out a smoke in Link, or sorry, in Art, like people would play near like the double box, like watching the smoke edge, because they know that it's like people step out that side of the smoke, and no matter how you do it, how fast you do it, you won't be moving on their screen. So like that's the most common place to play. All right. That's all I can recall for now, but feel free to go back over the VOD and pick out any of the other things that I pointed out. Yeah, hopefully this was helpful. All right, see ya.